My name's Jewell. I've lived in this community now for probably 4 decades. I'm ordained in the Mennonite Church USA. I've served in various capacities in a pastoral way. Currently, I am what's called district pastor for Pacific Northwest Mennonite Conference. So I do some regional work that way with the church, but it's very part-time. So, and I've been on the Fig Tree board now for I think about 4 years. I am currently the chair of the board, and so that's how I've gotten to be even more involved with the Fig Tree. I mean, Fig Tree's been around almost as long as I have in this community, but the actual hands-on involvement with the Fig Tree has only come about for me in the past maybe 4 years or so, as I've served on the board. But Mary, you and I go back way longer than 4 years, so I've appreciated the work of the Fig Tree for many, many years. So it's a privilege and an honor, and I'm gaining a lot of new appreciation and insight since coming onto the board. Well, my past interaction with the Fig Tree, probably like most people, is the publication that we see in our churches, in the lobbies, in various nonprofit areas, all circulated all throughout town. So, as maybe you might say, as a consumer of news, it's a publication that I've read for many, many years, and come to appreciate how broad and deep work for healing and justice and a better world through nonprofits and through church organizations, faith organizations, not just Christian, but all faith groups, are out there doing great work, and work that I would never be aware of were it not for the stories that the Fig Tree puts out. We can get in our little silos so often in our work, whether you're in nonprofit work, secular work, or faith community work. We get so focused down on our work and sometimes feel a bit lonely in that work, or maybe even discouraged. So to see these other people doing good things is spiritually uplifting and increases the sense that we're not in this alone. There's never going to be an end to the need for healing and repair of the world, as they say. But to know how broad it is helpful. And then it does provide for networking. If there's something we're working on and you learn that somebody else is working on sort of a similar concerns, it provides that bridge for connection. So that's very helpful. Recently, when I was down there, and that was about a year ago, we did a project, a quilt we made, and we circulated it around about banned books, and it's titled "We're with the Band." We're with the band. It was a way of raising awareness that literacy and censorship are sort of shouldn't be are at odds with each other, and so it was to raise awareness. And the Fig Tree did a story for that, and that not only broadcast to a much larger audience. It amplified, if you will, that project. So other churches and people in the community could see that one particular project that we were involved with. Wouldn't have gotten out there very well had it not been for the fig tree. So there's one example. And it also raised awareness for the Congregational Church a little higher of the value of the fig tree. I mean, I think it first starts with outreach and awareness, and Marenka and other members of our Fig Tree Volunteer Corps are available to go and share with congregations about the work of the fig tree. And so one Sunday when I wasn't in the pulpit, I invited Marenka to come and preach and share with a focus on the work of the fig tree and how important it is for the network and the good work of all the people of goodwill and faith in the community. So she came and did that. Community Congregational Church in Pullman has a monthly giving focus. So each month there is a specific regional or local work that we support. And so we dedicated a month of special offering for the fig tree. So that's on the roster, and I hope it continues to stay on that roster 1 month a year. So at the beginning of the month, there'll be a designated offering, and that first Sunday, somebody will get up who represents, who knows about or can represent that particular nonprofit group, and educate the congregation about that. And then for the following Sundays for that month, that is our special offering, free will offering that gets highlighted and encouraged every Sunday. It's a real concrete, specific way that people can feel that they're giving. They know what their giving is going to, over and above what the general work of the church is. We've had the church dial in to the benefit through Zoom together. So that was fun. We gather in the fellowship hall, serve some food, and take an hour to hear what the fig tree is doing and sort of re-energize our sense of being a part of this. And recognizing that it's a resource for our congregation. I have, that piece, the editorial piece of our Fig Trees publication toward the last page or two. Oftentimes, Mary, you have a guest editorial if you're not inputting or in addition to what you're writing, so you've invited me and others to contribute. I remember I did one editorial about the importance of how we are narrative people and we need stories, and whether those stories are negative stories or positive stories will determine how the lens through we view the world and how we react to the world. And in the case of Fig Tree, it is solutions-based, as you've reminded us, Mary. It is not, if it bleeds, it reads kind of journalism, but journalism that is about people making positive solutions in the world, because they view the world through the lens of what is possible and what can be. I remember you wrote recently an article or an editorial, something is around what if we lived in a world or saw the world for what it is meant to be and can be, and it's essentially describing how all these stories we read in the fig tree are pointing us toward people who view the world through a lens of what is possible and what can be and should be, and haven't given up. I remember one of the editorials recently was written by Cameron Connor, and he spoke about hope and agency, and those two go together. To have a sense of agency creates hope that you can change the world, that things are possible, that things don't have to be as it is. While we recognize the world and the problems that are, we also recognize the people who are making a difference in addressing that, who say it doesn't have to be ugly, it doesn't have to be suffering, there doesn't have to be all this contention. It is possible to heal, to repair, to build up. And so those are the stories we all need to hear in these times, especially as particularly as nonprofits are the majority of which we write stories about are up against some hard problems and some lowering of funding. So it's even more important than ever, I think, for those stories to be amplified out into the community so that they know these things are important, and it does take money to make these things work. And Fig Tree's in that same boat.
Yeah.
Yep. I actually, to be honest, I don't remember how we, brainstormed out and sifted to that particular theme for this year, but I think it's a very apropos theme, sharing wisdom through the generations. Again, there's another way we divide ourselves is through generational get in our generational ruts and our silos, but we're all human beings, young and old, generations, regardless of race or religion, we're all in this together, and that means sharing and honoring the wisdom from the elders, but also honoring the wisdom of our youth and the young, who are many of our contributors and writers are young people, and younger, and that's encouraging. That's important. I think we need to have as much cross interaction between generational perspectives as we can, because as I said, we're all, I know it sounds kind of cliche, but we're all in this together. We really are. And if we don't come together and honor and appreciate and grow from each other's experiences generationally, we're probably not going to do well. But if we can listen to each other and learn and be humble, and we will improve our chances of solving many of our problems in this world. The younger people are the ones particularly that I'm concerned about. I want to enable them to have a sense of, as I said, agency about their future. And we need each other to be talking to each other about that. It heightens my sense of worry for the coming generation, but at the same time, it also motivates for not giving up. In fact, for fighting harder. Yes, I am a grandfather now. But, I mean, if we can see ourselves all as, us older folk particularly, as the caretakers and nurturers and protectors of the young ones, that we don't get to retire, really. I mean, we can retire, but and in terms of not having to show up at a job, but all of our job is to work for a better world. And I think understanding ourselves as stewards, if you will, of the coming generation, there's something for us all to do. It could be some of the stories may be as seemingly mundane as being involved in a reading program or something like that. Literacy is one of those things that we can help the next generation become a more literate generation. Just spending time and being present to these young folks. That's a huge gift. Every single person, particularly those who are have graduated, if you will, outside the 9-to-5 work world, there's a myriad of things we can do. And one of the things I value in the Fig Tree is the monthly calendar. At the back of the Fig Tree publication, there is a list of 2 or 3 things every day that's happening in the community that one can potentially be involved with. So there's no shortage of things we can be involved in, and the Fig Tree tells those stories quite well. The directory, again, somewhat like the Fig Tree news itself. The directory is one of those publications that's out there. It's important, but it's real easy to not to take it for granted in a way. But people, I have learned in the nonprofit world, in the service sectors, places like SNAP, Spokane Neighborhood Action Program, or the Women's Hearth, or places who are serving people who are on the streets, really value the directory. And the hard copy form of it particularly is very helpful for some of the nonprofits because when you're living on the streets, access to the virtual world is not as accessible. So to have that hard copy of the directory is a really important tool. I mean, I think last year we came up a little short. Spokane Neighborhood Action Program was begging me for more copies because they had run out. So this year we made sure they had plenty. When you bring the fig trees by, a lot of these organizations, it's an opportunity to check in with them, to say hi, appreciate the work you're doing. Here's the fig tree. I walked by some of the people on the steps at the Methodist Church downtown who are on the streets, and I have a few extra copies of the fig trees, and I say, hey, would you like to have something to read? And usually they're pretty, surprisingly, that I say, oh yeah. So it's kind of fun to be able to interact with people, not only the service providers, but the people whom they're serving. Verbal pitch for being involved in deliveries. That takes maybe 2 hours of a day. to go around and deliver the fig trees to various places. There's certainly you're always looking for editors or proofreaders, displays. That's always fun. We're doing a lot of work, particularly Marika, with outreach, and she's just on it. She's an evangelist. She's out there. Hey, have you heard about the fig tree? Do you know what the fig tree is doing? Hey, can I give you some copies? Hey, can I come talk? And Marika always welcomes people who or Kay, who's our volunteer coordinator, will welcome people who want to be at a booth. All kinds of fairs and events that happen throughout the year where we set up a table to expand our readership and our awareness of what the fig tree is doing. And surprisingly, there are still a lot of people who are very new to knowing about the fig tree. So outreach is still very important. So that's a fun one. Like sitting at the table at the Martin Luther King Jr. observance. They have all kinds of tables set up there, including the fig tree. It's fun to interact and see people you know or meet people you don't know. So in the summertime, there's all kinds of farmers markets and so forth that Marika sets up that people could volunteer for that. It's fun and relatively low stress work. So if you have a little time, we can plug you in all kinds of places with the fig tree. And Kay Holt is our volunteer coordinator, and she would be or Mary or Marika would be or Malcolm or me or can all take your information and get you involved in any way possible. So we need financial support big time, but we need human resource support too. So volunteers, you can be a part of the team if you want. Since I've moved more toward the retirement level of my life, this is one of the one way I can be a little more involved and serve in the communities.